Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everyone. If you are on here, please get those likes up. Tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. Um, like, comment, share, all the above. I see a few comments already coming through. Um, D6, yes, shout out to D6. I saw the announcement earlier today. I have already subbed, I've already subscribed. If y'all don't know, Danica Marie and Six, the goddess, are looks like they're starting launching a YouTube channel. So I have subbed. I'm really excited to see what they're going to be dropping. I know it's going to be interesting. Two black beauty queens coming together, having some fun. So yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. What's SYSBM? So we're going to get into it, y'all. We're going to get into it, and I'm going to need your perspective. If we have time, I'm going to open up the call lines a little bit later on and just hear from you. But we're talking about SYSBM and divesting. Are they the same? Are they like two sides of the same coin? So I'm going to share my perspective, but then I want to hear from y'all. So I see, yeah, they have the end goal just for different genders. Okay, so I'm going to attempt, right? I'm going to attempt to explain what I know about SYSBM, what I know about divesting. Now, again, I don't claim to be an expert on any of this. I've just, like I said, done a little bit of my own research, especially in divesting, but here's how I understand it. So SYSBM, I think that stands for Save Yourself Black Men. Y'all, if I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. But from what I understand, it is basically Save Yourself Black Men. Yes, that's what it stands for. Basically, it is a movement that is encouraging Black men to expand their options beyond the West, right? Beyond America, and to find love in different communities. Now, there's some SYSBMers, from what I understand, that they are still they still prefer Black women, they still prefer women of African descent, but instead of them getting an American born woman, they may go to the Dominican Republic, DR, they may go to the Caribbean, they may go to Africa, some of them. So you have some dudes who are SYSBM, right? Who are more about expanding their options and not being limited to America, not being limited to the West. But like I said, some of those dudes are still after Black women, prefer Black women. Now, there are, from my understanding, some SYSBMers who do not like Black women, who feel like going with Becky, Marisol, you know what I mean? Like just marrying outside of the Black community, period, is the best way to go. So from what I understand, SYSBMers, there's even within that camp, there's a difference. There's some men who are just like, nah, I still prefer Black women. I just feel like Black women out here are poisoned by feminism. So they'll go and find Black women outside of the States. Like I said, they may go to Caribbean, Africa, DR, like Latin America, whatever. But they're still primarily looking for Black women. And there's some dudes that are just like, nah, Black women are for the streets. They are trash. I just need to marry a non-Black woman and all my problems will be solved. So again, y'all let me know if I'm misunderstanding this. But from what I'm understanding, that's what I've seen kind of within the SYSBM spectrum. But the primary, I think, central theme there is that the central theme there is basically that like women in general, Black women in the West and America are tainted by feminism, and this is why we need to expand our options. So that's my understanding of it. Y'all, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. That I missed something. Did I miss a key point? Because I think, that's my understanding of it. I see this is the first time hearing of SYSBM. Yes, that stands for Save Yourself Black Men. So for those of you guys who are hopping on, please get those likes up. Tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. We're talking about SYSBM and divesting if it's the same. I'm going to give my spin on what I think it is, but I'd love to hear from y'all in a few minutes. I'm going to open up the call lines. And y'all let me know if you're a divester or if you're SYSBM, maybe you could speak for yourself. I'm just trying to explain my understanding of it and what I'm seeing. So like I said, that's SYSBM. Men who are just like, nah, just either don't date or marry black women, period. They're for the streets. And then you have some SYSBMers who are just like, nah, our preference is black women, but we just feel like black women in America are tainted from feminism. So we need to expand our options to Africa, to the Caribbean, DR, Latin America, whatever. Now, divestors, from what I'm understanding, and here's a key difference. I have never heard a divestor say, okay, I'm not going to marry a black, I'm going to expand my options and marry an African man or marry a black one from the Caribbean. When I hear divestors saying that they're going to expand their options, it's always marrying outside of your ethnicity. So here's a key difference already I see between SYSBM and divestors. Divestors are primarily promoting black women to date non-black men, whereas as SYSBM, I see it both. I see some black men promoting not dating black women, and I also see black men promoting dating black women, just dating black women outside of the US. So here already is a key difference from what I am seeing between the two. I see divestors say black women are inherently evil. Yeah, I have heard that. I said I see SYSBM and divestors have the same ideology, anything but a black spouse. Right. Well, see, and here's the thing: from SYSBM, like I said, I've seen some dudes who they claim that, but they're just like, yeah, get you a black woman from Ethiopia, and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Or get you a black woman from Colombia, you'll be fine. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think all SYSBMers are anti-black female, but again, I could be wrong. You said I see SYSBM, they uplift white women. Yeah, so like I said, this is my understanding of it. I see SYSBM is for black men and LYLBW is for black women. I don't think I've heard of LYL. Yeah, all these acronyms, I can't like. I'm learning something new every single day, but I don't even know what that means. LYL. What does that even mean? LYLB, y'all. I see SYSBM is basically marry anyone who's functional, basically not putting up with American black women. So you say, I'm SYSBM and I'll never date anything but a black. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, okay. So like I said, maybe in a few minutes, y'all come in. But okay, so that's the key difference I see out the gate is that SYSBM, some of them promote marrying black women just outside of the US, and then some of them are just adamantly opposed to black women. Whereas divesting is 100% black women expanding their options, or 100% black women basically just not marrying or not being with black men. So that right there is a key difference in that. I see swirlers and divestors. Yeah, so, and that's what I heard. So I heard too recently, swirlers and divestors, evidently they're different. So that's news to me. I am not the expert on that. So I don't know how they're different. Maybe, like I said, I can learn. Somebody can call in and explain it to me. But from my understanding, swirlers and divestors were a part of the same camp. Maybe recently there is a split. But so, like I said, that has been a key difference from what I've seen between the two. Now, the question comes up: okay, are these ideologies are they hurtful or are they helpful to the black community? And I think that brings up a bigger question. For those of you who are on, please get those likes up, tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. We are talking about whether or not SYSBM and divesting are the same. Also, I want to give a special shout out to those who have shown some support. I'm going to give a real quick shout out to those who have shown some love on the Cash App. Let me pull this up while we're here before I forget. I want to give a special shout out to Game. Let me see. Actually, okay. Yeah, special shout out to Game Dreamer for the Cash App. I seen that come through. Also for Thomas on the Cash App. Much appreciated. Like I said, again, if y'all want to show support to the show, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo. Say Sade. So, like I said, that's a key difference. So this brings us to the larger question: is this hurtful or is this helpful to the black community? Are we, damaging ourselves? Are we promoting self-hatred, whatever, when we are basically saying, hey, black women or black men, for whatever reason, your counterparts are not worth marrying. If we are promoting that in any way, shape, or form, is that hurting us or is that helping us? I think that is the bigger question, because if you have men who are promoting either, marrying women from different nations or marrying women outside of the Black community or the American Black community, how is that going to impact practice? If you have Black women who are promoting, okay, marrying non-Black men, okay, well, how is that going to impact us in the long run? So, these bring up bigger questions. Now, my personal opinion is that another key difference, right, between divesting versus SYSBM is, I think just because the way nature works, and again, this is just my opinion, but just because the way nature works, I think if let's say a Black man was to go marry a woman from Colombia, for example, or Ethiopia, bring her over, and and marry her in, because I actually know of people that I know who have, they're American born and they married women from different countries. I think just by nature of feminine women in particular, they will have they'll have an easier time maybe adjusting to the man's culture, to the man's basically to the man's boundaries. So let's say if a man has a strong spiritual base, has a strong cultural base, has a strong understanding of self, even if he marries a woman that is outside of his culture, I still think it's possible to maintain, to a certain extent. I still think it's impossible to maintain um a strong cultural base, because I think women tend to default to whatever their husband is doing. That's just because just the way nature works, right? Men are the head. Now, however you want to look at it, if we're looking at a traditional setup, right, where you want a strong alpha male scenario, if that's the kind of men you're looking for, then by default, men are the head. Men are the ones who kind of set the boundaries, set the parameters. So, like I said, men, they could go marry somebody outside of the culture and that woman still go and get acclimated to his culture. I think, women, it's a little bit different because of our nature, we tend to submit to whoever we are married to or whoever we're with. And so if women marry outside of the culture, or if women start to promote marrying outside of the Black culture, okay, the question comes up, okay, are they still able to maintain a strong cultural center or not? I don't know. These are just all questions. These are just all questions. I can't say I have the answer, but these are kind of the different things I've been trying to compare. Is like, are they really equals or are they different? Is this promoting healthy ideas about Black people, about the Black image? Because as I said before, I think the Black image, especially of Black women in particular, it's really bad. It is broken down. And when there's this idea out there that says, hey, if you marry out, hey, if you go over there, what that is basically saying indirectly is that, like, these people around me are not good enough. And I'm saying, is that really helping or is that really hurting the community in the long run? So, yeah, those are just a few thoughts that I have. I want to give a special shout out to Demetrius. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, shameless plug, we are still campaigning for the Black Men Built That. The goal is to get a certain number of members to join so that we can start to promote different videos that will highlight the different advancements in technology, engineering, education, just all around the different advancements that Black men have made to the community, society in general. I don't think we talk about that enough. I had a live yesterday where I brought in a good friend of mine who was actively building and is actively involved in the community, trying to bring, just trying to help where he can. And so my goal is to continue to do more of those kinds of things. So again, if you join and become a member, then that's going to help fund the support for us to get more of those kinds of messages out there. So again, special shout out to you. Also, I see Houdini Unchained on the super chat. I see divestors have turned into a hate group and it's sad. I'm at the point where I'd packed their bags just so they could leave. Spare me the evangelism. Okay, so when you say pack your bags, I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that is speaking to the SYSBM. I'm not sure. I just want to make sure. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting my hair braided tomorrow, so I needed to prepare. But y'all, so that's what I'm saying. Like I've really been thinking about this. I've really been thinking about this, like how it's helping or hurting. I've always said personally, whoever a person decides to marry is their business. I don't see anything wrong with somebody dating or marrying somebody outside of their culture. Some of my closest friends have done that. Some of the most God-fearing people I know are in interracial relationships, and so I have no problem in theory, on just face value, if somebody happens to fall in love with someone of a different ethnicity. What I do think, though, needs to be talked about is some of the different negative narratives. Like I said, if you have a group of SYSBMers that are saying all Black women are trash, therefore marry Becky and then your life will be okay, really bad. Because I know some very, very, very broken and crazy white women. Okay. And similar, if you have divestors out there who may say, hey, marry outside, don't marry a Black man, and that's going to automatically expand your options, that's going to automatically eliminate certain issues. Again, that is not looking at reality, because we know that there is such a small percentage of white men who marry Black women. And again, if we look at the single parent households and just the activity of Black women in general, that's a bit of a fallacy to say that just dating out is going to make your life better. And so again, to me, the bigger issue is not necessarily if somebody dates or marries out, it's why are they doing it? Are you promoting self-hatred? And are you actually operating from a place of self-hatred? That is bad. That is bad. To me, I can say as a child of God, God made me the way I am. The color of my skin, everything about me. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think I've been in a journey, even myself, of learning how to accept that, and not limiting a person's, not limiting or judging somebody just by how they look and saying, oh, well, they're automatically evil because they're a Black man, or they're automatically evil because they're a Black woman. They're automatically more good because they're white. Like that's to me is such a limited way of thinking. And so it's like, if I recognize, hey, who I am is so much higher than just how I look, you know what I mean? There's a whole side of me that's so much more powerful than just skin value. Then it's like, I would want to treat other people the same way. But I do recognize that so often people are just judged. Men are just judged by how they look, even in the Black community. Same with Black women. And I go back to, are we at the end of the day promoting self-hatred when we are holding on to some of these ideas? So those are just my thoughts, but I'd love to hear from you. I am going to drop open the link. If anybody has any thoughts, we got any SYSBMers, we got any divestors, swirlers, anything in between, you let me know. I mean, is it different? Are we helping? Are we hurting each other when we're promoting some of these different things? I mean, what do you think? Also, I want to give a special shout out. I said SYSBM includes intracultural dating, diasporic dating as an option. To my knowledge, divesting does not. Okay, so I want to make sure I understand. I basically think what you're saying is like, yeah, SYSBM, it can include, right? It can include men who decide to marry maybe women of African descent or Black women, but they're just not from America or from the West. They may be from, like I said, from the Caribbean, from Latin America. They may be from Africa. That's different than divesting, and that divesting does not promote any man of African descent. It promotes just, dating or marrying out. So that, I think that is what is being said. Special shout out also to that $4.99 in the super chat. Much appreciated, y'all. Much appreciated. I see a new $20 super chat. I see. Okay. SYSBM tends to say ADOS culture is mostly harmful, and finding a wife who wants to operate traditionally will be difficult. Date outside the culture to increase your chances of finding a wife. Divestors tend to say Black men are bad. Fair. I have yet to meet a divestor that has anything positive to say about Black men. Now, I could be wrong. If somebody is out there knows something different, let me know. Like I said, some people out there now saying divesting or swirling is different. This is news to me. I don't know how it's different. But okay, looks like we got a few here. Hey, Danica. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, girl, I'm getting my hair braided tomorrow. You look stunning. Love the fro. Thank you, girl. Also, we are all so excited about D6. I've already subbed. Everybody in here on the chat was talking about it. So I'm gonna be hitting the notification button. Looking forward to your next video. So shout out to Danica and D6, y'all. If you haven't already, go check out her new channel that she just dropped with Six the Goddess. That's gonna be dope. And see, yes, I saw the big news. Okay, so we got a few callers here. So I got like, okay, I'm gonna try to keep this. Um, hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? This is my second time actually on the panel.
Dope, dope. Okay, so I mean, what do you think? Are SYSBM divesting, like, are they the same thing? Are they helping? Are they helping the
No,
black community, or is it impacting?
I think even just the premise of comparing SYSBM to divesting is disingenuous. In a free and modern society, women have a disproportionately high, have disproportional influence over the culture of their community. In the black
Okay.
community in particular, what we're seeing is 80% of the children are being raised by women who are raising them to be dysfunctional. These kids are going to school hungry. They're maladjusted. They turn out to be illiterate. So the idea that divesting is the solution when the women wield unilateral influence over how black children are reared. Therefore, they have unilateral power over the trajectory of the black culture. To, to say that divesting and SYSBM are comparable, the women could just turn around and decide to just raise proper boys that are family minded, choose a partner. I remember, I'll make this short, but on a different panel, I heard a divester actually say that with black men, you have to worry about them impregnating you before marriage. When like that just flies in the face of biology. We know that in a Western country, women have disproportional control over gestation, conception, and even custody of the children. So to compare the two is just it's completely ridiculous, and there is no comparison between the two. Overnight, we could the women could decide to just raise the kids another way, and everything would be resolved.
I guess, okay, so I'm trying to understand why you're saying it's the comparison is disingenuous. To me, like I said, from face value, you see SYSBMers saying, go marry Becky. And then you see black women going and saying, go marry Brad. So I'm like, out of face value, it looks like those are two sides of the same coins. But to make sure to
No,
understand what you're saying that because black women are raising kids that are dysfunctional, that's why those ideologies should not be
no,
compared. I just want to make sure I understand.
I'm saying SYSBM is the black man's response to productive, well-to-do black men being socially incompatible with a lot of our women who've been imprinted on a dysfunctional male archetype. And when you look at how the women are selecting their mates and how they're rearing their children, there's a clear pattern that they're changing the course of the culture in such a way that the culture is moving towards what it is they claim to be aggrieved about. So to compare the two, both of them are advocating for obviously dating outside of their race, but for a woman to to argue that the black men are choosing to steer the culture in a direction that's dysfunctional. Black men don't have power to the power to steer the culture in any direction because it's the women that are raising the kids. And for a woman that goes out and takes a black child and raises him to be illiterate, raises him to be dysfunctional, sends him to school
Okay.
underprepared and poorly cultured, you can't run away from that. It's part of the responsibility of having disproportional custody of the children is the proportionate amount of responsibility for how the children are turning out.
Okay. So basically, you're saying black women control culture to a certain extent. They're the ones raising the next generation. They're the ones that are responsible for that. So to try to blame men for cultural um, decline is not really that's not really fair because majority of kids are with black women, single parent households, and then women are the ones who kind of control culture. I think that's it.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
You
Well,
have
that's
women.
mm-hmm.
Sorry, you have women bemoaning providers, but sitting in their homes without a man in the home, complaining about men leaving the home when they're choosing. There's an institution already in place for women who want to have a man in the home. It's called marriage. If you're having the children under questionable circumstances and very casual relationships, then you're going to end up with what it is that we're ending up with. So the comparison is only as shallow um, as both these groups are advocating for leaving out. But the women have complete control of the community. You can't
Okay.
you can't refuse responsibility for what you have custody of and unilateral control.
Okay. No, I got your position. So thank
Yep.
you for sharing your perspective. I have quite a few more who are online, so I
Thank
want to
you.
make sure.
Sorry for hogging the mic.
No, okay. All right. You have a good night. Okay. Hey, is that perfect blackness? Yes,
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me? Can you hear me good?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. I will say this. No, they're not the same. I won't necessarily say that it's a disingenuous. I don't know if it is or
Mhm.
isn't. But I will say this. I do understand. Now, I'm not for dating out racially. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm pretty down, for the community. But I will
Mhm.
say this though. I totally understand why what that the whole basis for the SYSBM. From
Right.
a man like myself, I'm 46, and my wife she's South African, and
Okay.
and Black American women have rendered whole generations of themselves completely undateable and not marriage material, and that is terrible. That is a terrible thing because people like myself. I am for dating out culturally, not necessarily racial, but dating out culturally, because I still believe that there is something to be said for the black community. But the problem is decent black men when they get to certain points in their life where they are financially productive and have a lot to offer. They're not finding women who are marriage material. Matter of fact, they're not finding women who even want to be married. Let me tell you something. Most men don't give a damn about strong and independent women. I don't want a strong and independent woman. I don't. I'm the strength. And anyone living in my home, there isn't going to be no independence. Bottom line. And I think black women have, for years, they have swallowed the rhetoric of feminism better than white women, more so than white women. And it has really destroyed. It has really had a very very bad influence on the black community.
Mm.
It has. I mean, the whole single motherism is damn near encouraged. Now, a man like myself that's got something to give, there's nowhere in the world that I want to spend the rest of my life with that. I just don't. It's a shame that I spent 46 years of my life, and up until now, I never met a woman who can outcook or outclean me. That's a shame. That is a shame. And because I haven't been around women, I've never had a problem with finding women or being with them. I've never had that problem. But like most men, like myself, who I don't have a whole bunch of kids running around and all of that. I got two children, two, and one is by my South African wife, and she's pregnant again. So I believe in family. I
Okay.
mentor men on how to get more time with their kids, and I also mentor boys and coach. So I'm
Hmm.
in the community, and I see what the problem is, and I see what I got stories on top of stories of how mothers are ruining their boys. Even when their boys are starting to do better with the coaches, they pull them off the team, and they wind up finding they're doing even worse. So
Hmm.
this is what decent black men are facing when they get out here and they work all the way up until their 30s and maybe in their early 40s and with no children, and they can't find decent women who are going to compliment them. They find catty, mouthy women who want to be as independent and strong and want to tell you about it every single day when you come on. And oh, by the way, they can't cook and will never be submissive to you at all. Tell
Hmm.
me what man wants. who has anything to offer, why would he want to come home to that? The reason why a lot of these women can't find these decent men like myself or any, they can't find them because we have put ourselves in a position to avoid certain types of women.
Okay.
So they buy Steve Harvey's books because don't no man of any decency want to be with them. Fake hair, fake nails, and they loud with tattoos all over the goddamn place. That's visible. Don't no man really want to bring that around corporate events and whatnot. Why do want to do that? I work in corporate America. I can tell you right now, whenever they have these events, you don't see what you do see as far as the women, the black women that's there. They're all single.
Hmm.
So,
So you're basically saying that, men who are functional, okay, men out there who are black men out there who are, doing their thing, really wanting to settle down and build a family, they're having a hard time finding women around them who, match that criteria.
I
And
want
so
to match
this
that
is
criteria, just being marriage material.
marriage material. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
just being marriage material. You
Okay.
know, friendly, just like Kevin Samuels say, fit, feminine, friendly.
Okay.
We're not finding that. We're just not finding it. And I got to a point that I'm not doing it. I still got a lot of productive years left. I have a lot to offer. I am not going to spend the rest of my days coming home to a loud, independent woman who won't even cook and clean,
Hmm.
who haven't even been taught. Now my wife is 26. My wife is 26. That woman can out cook and clean any. Again, up until I met my wife, I never met a woman who can out cook and out clean me. Never. And me as a Gen Xer, that is saying something. That means this has been going on for decades.
Mm.
Our quote unquote, our women have been doing it. They have been telling us what to accept. And so slowly but surely, men like myself have said, you know what? I'll forego marriage.
Mm.
Slowly but surely, we've been leaving these conversations up in man caves and barbershops. Now stuff is out getting out in the open. It's been a slow protest, protesting with our feet and just not married.
Okay. Okay.
So it ain't that these women they can't find these good men. These good men don't want to be bothered with those type of women.
Mm. Okay. Interesting. Well, I appreciate you hopping on. I have a few more calls and
Thanks
I
for
want
having me.
to go to them. So, but thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Okay. You take care. Hello. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. First thing first, I'm actually driving right now,
Okay. No
a
worries.
truck or whatever. So if it's ambient noise in the background, just let me know. And if I fall off, sorry about
All
that,
good.
because I'm in the mountains right now.
All good. So what do you think? I mean, do you think SYSBM and divesting are they two sides of the same coin? I mean, are they helping or hurting the black community? I mean, just what do you think about the whole idea?
They're not whatsoever. Um, Actually, the divestment movement, I've studied that for the last, let's say, 2 years, and I first seen it on Facebook, divested zealot or whatever.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, that basically was my introduction into it. So uh, upon
She's kind of extreme. She's
researching
pretty.
that,
Yeah, she's extreme.
yeah, upon researching those, I come across Cynthia G and Nyla Says and all of these women, and it's really disheartening to hear it because personally, I've only dated black women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wouldn't date anything other than a black woman, but I'm from South Memphis, Tennessee. Straight up.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've experienced it all when it comes to our black women. Love them to death, but I've seen some of the most debaucherous activities take place in front of my eyes, and it's just kind of hard to understand how a woman would wish death on black boys. Once I seen that video, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing where this headed. But the thing about the divestment movement and the SYSBM, some SYSBM brothers are totally, you know, over the top with it. Now, I'm gonna just state this: I'm not a bad looking brother myself, so I never had a problem with women, and I feel a lot of that stems, from with these guys. It stems from them not maybe not as aesthetically pleasing. So their troubles with women may, it may
Right.
differ for some men. So I like to take that in consideration because most guys I see complaining
Mm-hmm.
uh, in that space. I just can't just say they're the most handsome guys. Now I'm not on that.
So basically,
Uh,
so low
yeah,
key, my husband told me this, where he's like, there's an extremist group. This is in it, like his words, basically.
yeah,
He was explaining to me, he's like, there's an extremist group of men out there, SYSBMers, who are far extreme, and he's like, they low key have incel energy, and it's almost like women bad period, black women bad period, and he's like, the bigger issue is that these men haven't had any interaction with women because they're incels, so they're mad about that. Now that's not all. That's not all, obviously.
yeah,
But
exactly.
he's like, but there is, again, you're going to that really, really extreme branch of it where they're just like, oh, all these women are horrible, they're demonic, yada yada
Yeah,
yada. And it's like, no, the truth is, if you really listen to them, they just sound angry that they've had such bad luck with women, period. you know?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so that doesn't exist, and here's the thing about it, because I'm in the Bay Area, which there's black communities. You drive 15, 20 minutes, it's an all white community. Then you got mixed community. Like, so it's really mixed out here. And so I've grown up and have always had friends of different ethnic backgrounds. Like I said, some of my closest friends are white. Some of them are Asian. Some of them, like, I've always had a mix. And so what I recognize easy is that, like, trauma exists across all ethnicities. You will find
Yeah,
dirty, ratchet, horrible behavior in a Becky, like you'll find it in in a black woman. Like it's
right.
out there. Now, with that said, um, obviously, black people in general, we have there's been institutional situations that have made it to where many of us just economically are in a disadvantage, and you are going to find more behaviors and more in economically disadvantaged spaces. Like, that's just, it is what it is. You're going to find more danger. You're going to have more trauma, potential trauma, because people are struggling economically. And I think sometimes that is a big component to some of this behavior that we have. It's just the simple fact that, like, in a lower income area where many of us live, there's stuff associated with that: danger, violence, you know what I mean? It's
Definitely.
all kind of stuff. And so that's why I'm saying some of these issues that I think that we're so easy to put on black men or black women, sometimes I think is a socioeconomic thing,
Oh yeah.
and we forget about that. And we forget about, there have been literal laws and institutions put in place to help facilitate some of these behaviors that we see on a mass scale. Now, what does that mean on a personal level? Like, right, for each person individually. Like, I still think at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility. Like, as a woman, I got to take responsibility to make sure, okay, if I want to actually be married, or back when I was single, I had to look in the mirror and be like, well, what am I doing to kind of keep me from having the results that I want?
Yeah.
Same thing with dudes. It's like, if you're having bad situations with females, is it literally all
You
females'
got to
fault? Like,
look
all females
within.
out there are bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it starts with you as the man. I mean, you have to look at yourself first, and consider, like,
Mm-hmm.
would you talk to you? I mean, and a lot,
Right.
a lot of guys in this space really don't take that in consideration, because I want to put this out here too. I'm 33, single,
Mm-hmm.
no children. Okay, so I'm
It looks like you cutting out a little bit, but okay, you're cutting out. So, but this is all good. I have a few other callers on the line that I'm trying to get to. Feel free to call back if you want. Maybe once you have a stronger connection. And thanks for joining. I can't hear a word you're saying. Um, First off, if you were on here, please get those likes up, y'all. Tag anybody on this discussion who you think might find it interesting. We're talking about SYSBM and divesting. Are they the same? Special shout out to CLA Trey, aka Mr. Research, on the $2 on the super chat. I see Town Business. Oh, Oakland. Okay, he's from Oakland. Yeah, my family's from there. So yes, Eugene Still, shout out to him. Get those likes up. I agree. So okay, y'all. I done heard from all these dudes. I see females up there in the chat. If y'all got something to say, please feel free to call in. I'm happy to, to take the rest of these male callers, but it would be great to hear from a female perspective. I'm gonna sum it up really quick before I take these other calls. Again, we're talking about SYSBM divesting. Are they the same? Are they promoting health in the Black community, or is it tearing down the Black community? My understanding of it from just a very, very, my understanding just from a base level is that SYSBM, there is a little bit more variation. You have dudes who SYSBM who are just about dating Becky, but you have many SYSBMers or Black men who identify with that, who their preference is Black women. And so their preference is just Black women, maybe who aren't from America or who haven't been tainted by feminism, as some of them may say. But the difference there is that SYSBM includes Black men who prefer Black women and also Black men who don't want to date Black women. Now, divesting, from my understanding, from what I've seen, is promoting women to only date and marry out. There are extremist groups of divestors who just say everything bad about Black men. That certainly exists. And some of those platforms, unfortunately, are the loudest out there. But like I said, this is just what I've seen. I'd love to hear from y'all. Again, any ladies on there, if you want to share your perspective, love to have you. Otherwise, I will continue to take these, the calls of these men who are basically saying, nah, SYSBM and divesting, you can't control them. You can't compare the two. So I'm gonna add another call on. Hey, Dean.
Hey, Shez. Sorry, I had to drop my camera off because I was busy. I was in the back for a while there. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, you're good.
I feel like wishing you happy Kwanzaa with that shirt on. I still got it. So with I don't know much about SYSBM, but I do know much about the divestor space, and I actively participate in their space to get an understanding of their grievances.
You definitely learn a lot.
Yeah, and there's a lot of emotionalism in their grievances, and it seems to me that there is an element of self-hate with the divestors. Okay. With SYSBM, there is also an element of self-hate, and not just SYSBM. There's like a conservative sect within the greater manosphere that has that element of, I don't want to say that word, but self-hate and anti-Black.
Yeah, certainly. There's money to be made off of self-hate. I don't understand it myself, but there's money to be made off of that. So.
Yeah, these are like your Brandon Tate. I don't know if you know who Brandon Tatum is, but he basically did a video of like why Black men date white women, and just trying to make an excuse for his personal decisions, and trying to paint it as a bigger societal thing. And overall, I think when people are having these discussions, I heard a lot of young voices. I think the gentleman before me was like 30.
Yeah, he was 30.
I think the first guy, he was probably a teenager.
He said he was 46 from what I understand. Or one of them was 46. The one that married the South African woman. Yeah,
that guy was definitely an older, and you could tell he had a lived experience. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these younger guys, they're also operating in some sense of emotionalism. Okay. And life will definitely teach you that women are women.
Right, women are women. Thank you. That part.
It's basically the you can't. This sounds terrible. But I'm of Caribbean descent. I'm Jamaican, right?
Okay.
Jamaican descent. But it is culture, like different cultures latch on, and it shows up in different characteristics. And that's not to say that African Americans are one way, because that's ignorant, or to say that Jamaicans are one way, because that's also ignorant. But it's just people who have grievances. I'd be interested in hearing what the women say if they're not too shy.
Right. If any
Like
of them,
Shez doesn't bite.
I don't bite. Like, I'm so nice. I really try to be nice and open. We're just having a discussion here, really getting it out there. And I think these kinds of discussions can be good because I don't like fueling the gender war kind of thing that I see online. That's not my goal. I just think sometimes people can get so much in their own little bubble, and it's, what do they call it, like a echo chamber.
Yes.
That's not always so healthy either. So I'm like, I got some females in there. Have any divestors in there? You are more than welcome to come on and chat. I promise I will not bite. I try to keep it really respectful. Also, shout out real quick to Chantel. I also saw Crimson Cure in the super chat too. I don't know if she's still here, but I just want to give a special shout out to those lovely ladies. Anyways.
Yeah, I wanted to say this one thing about divestment that no one really talks about. And I meant to, I'm part of your membership. I meant to send you a note about this, but have you noticed the duplicitous nature of their arguments where they're trying to use femicide to push women into this divestment? They're trying to say, well, femicide is happening, and the only cure or the only way to fix it or address, because black femicide is an issue, but to suggest that divestment will save them is buffoonery, and it's wicked. It's absolutely wicked. And I'm just completely done with divestors. Like, I wish they would just leave us alone. Take that toxicity.
You wish they would divest. You wish divestors would divest.
Right.
And stop talking about black men every 15 seconds. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Fair. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've seen extremists on both sides. Now, it just so happens that I feel like divesting, at least online, has a stronger hold on the black female, YouTubers, black female influencers. That ideology is, I think, stronger, whether or not it's direct or indirect. You have some channels who they're not divestors, but they're divestor adjacent. So I see that being a lot more prevalent, my understanding, versus than SYSBMers or, men out there who are just like, all these females are XYZ. And also, yeah, I do see just the blatant misusage of facts sometimes. I mentioned this before in my video a few months ago where it's like, are black men are most violent? Where and I broke down that we looked at the numbers. We just looked across the numbers. You're like, okay, so what's actually going on? And I was shocked to see that as far as bilateral violence, right? That women across the board, they were fighting back more. And I think when any group of women goes and says, oh, we're getting oppressed more by our men than any other men, we got to go over there, that's disingenuous, because among white women are the most likely to get beat, violated by their men. Chinese women are the most likely to get violated by their men. Mexican women are, because
exactly
we're in community with. So yeah, the numbers are going to be higher among black women because we're in close proximity to them. But like I said, the same can be said for white women. The same can be said for Mexican women. So when we take things out of context to kind of paint a narrative, it can be dangerous because it can lead us to the wrong conclusion.
Yeah, and with the SYSBM, they're also dangerous as well, because they won't talk about brothers going down to South America and getting that scopolamine and getting their pockets ran through. They'll, but we could leave that alone, right? But like I said, women are women, and to try to elevate one group above black women, I have a problem with that. I have a serious problem with that.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
But yeah, so love the shirt, love the dress, and I'll continue to be a member. It's got its privileges.
You signing up and all of that, and I appreciate the conversation.
Yep. Have a good night.
Okay, you take care. So, for those of you on, please get those likes up, y'all. Tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. Shout out to all of you ladies, lovely ladies on the chat. I would love to hear from you. I've talked to plenty of men and can continue to do so. But if you have something to share on this topic, I would love to hear from you. Also, want to give a special shout out to Terenzo Jones with the $50 super chat. I appreciate all of you guys for the love and support. Let me make sure that I read your super chat off. I can find it. It says, okay, Gen Xers are a lot of single mothers, which people want us to see them as marriage material. And that contradicts these topics because most aren't at all due to their unhealthy past attachments to F-boys versus us men who aren't fathers. So we must save ourselves. Okay. Also, shout out to Raw with the $20 in the super chat. I see happy Kwanzaa to my fellow pro-Black Pan-Africanist. Today's principle, Ujima, a collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community, making our community's problems our problems and to solve them together. Again, much love. I want to appreciate all of you guys who have shown support. So we, again, are talking about SYSBM and Divesting. Are they the same? Are they the same? Are they helping or hurting the Black community? I want to hear from you, so feel free to call in. Okay, looks like we got hey there. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
So what do you think? So SYSBM and Divesting, are they the same? Are they the same?
No, I think they're different. You know, I'm not part of SYSBM. I mean, I'm a Pan-Africanist, but
Okay.
search for Uru, Dinus, right? The search for Uru channel, huh?
Oh no, I'm not familiar with that channel.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I was saying that like O'Shea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's associated with a guy named Dinus. Dinus Amir, search for you. It was a Pan African channel and stuff like that. But yeah, because like with O'Shea, he's in Uganda, he's been to Africa and all that type of stuff. So I think that yeah, I don't know. Are you familiar with the Passport Brothers?
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, so I think these different. I mean, all of these movements are like kind of reactionary. I think that, but I think the biggest difference, from my opinion, from observation, the divesting thing is mostly Black women um, swirling. It seems like going for white, dudes. Seem like the SYSBM guys are going for different types of women, like whether they Latino, white, or they can be Black woman from a different culture or something like that. It seems like it's more
Okay.
diversity and stuff like that. So I think that So I think that I think that's the thing. So I think that that's what I see as the difference. And I think it's just it's the dysfunction that's in the West. It's not only just America. It's in the UK. So it's not not even Black American problem. It's just Black people that live in the West.
Yeah.
So and I think that and it's it's not a race thing. It's a culture issue. It's more of a culture issue that is a thing, because I was just in East Africa. They didn't have none of these problems. Huh? There was no gender war. There were none of all this stuff and like that, because because the culture. I mean, the culture in America is insane. It's toxic and it's insanity, and that's what I call it. I call it Babylon. This Babylon culture, and a lot of Black people are still they still thinking like it's on a plantation and stuff like that. Like where women just judging a dude about how good he can go smash or something like that, or like how much swag over substance, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like on the superficial level. Like it's almost like they're thinking like on a plantation like mindset where you have like a person on the in the plantation where this guy is he can produce them, have the most kids and have the most swag and stuff, and like you put them on there and the woman picks this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. It's just insanity here.
That makes sense. So, yeah. So I mean, that makes sense. You're basically saying there is, in your opinion, there is a difference, and you don't.
Yeah.
But the bigger thing is you just don't hear some of these gender wars and other more, and just in other environments outside of the West. So that totally makes sense. I appreciate you calling on. I do have a few other calls I want to get to before it gets too late.
Okay.
But I do appreciate you calling on.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much. For those of you who are on, please get those likes up. Y'all, I'm seeing all these comments come through. You can just call in. That make it a lot. You can rest your fingers. Rest your thumb. Just call in. Especially you ladies over there that got a lot to say. I don't bite. Okay. Hey there.
How you doing?
I'm good. So, okay, what do you think? SYSBM and Divesting, are they the same? Are they different? Are they helping, hurting the Black community? What do you think?
Yes, they are the same. I would have to say they are the same. They don't promote Black men and Black women coming together.
Okay.
Right? They don't promote unity. If you look at divestment, right, they say that the American Black man is not good enough. He's not marriage material.
Okay.
He isn't worth being with. They generalize. They put Black men in a box.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? If you look at the SYS, right? So if you look at the SYSBM, right, they do the same thing in reverse, right? When they look at Black women, they say, Black women are ratchet, Black women are hoes, and they don't know how to keep a man, they don't submit. They say these things, right? And then they'll tell other Black people, well, to just, expand your options. Go somewhere else. Now listen, man, what are you saving yourself from, for real?
Okay. So you basically
that's it.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
You're in the perspective that, listen, like they are the same. Divestors are over here basically saying Black men are dusties, Black men aren't marriage material, you need to divest and marry outside of your community. And you're saying that the SYSBMers are doing the same thing for Black women. They are saying these Black women over here are not marriage material. Both are promoting, marrying out, and both are not promoting Black women and Black men.
Right, but yeah, right. They're not promoting the improvement of Black America. They're not promoting that. Now somebody thinks I'm not telling the truth in the chat room, but that's okay.
They can call in. They're welcome to call in.
I've been around. I have argued with men who are SYSBM,
okay.
Yeah, because I've heard of SYSBM before I've heard of divestment. Okay. Right, the divestment shit is pretty new. It's pretty new, right? It's like pretty new. I heard of SYSBM at first, so I've seen them degrade Black women, say Black women are not good enough, and the divestors do the same thing. So I don't see the difference. And another thing, all divestors are not the same. Let me put that out there. All divestors are not the same. Yes, you have divestors that say they want a white man, they don't want nothing Black. But you have other Black women who say, I'm divested, but I still date Black men. Have you ever heard of that?
That don't make no sense, because then you're not divested.
Right, but see, well, I'm telling you, because I'll be around these spaces, right? So they'll say divestment is not necessarily about interracial dating. It's about divesting from toxic behaviors and a toxic mentality.
Okay.
This is what they say. I'm just going about what they say. Why are you making that face?
I know. I'm looking at these comments and I'm like,
oh, okay.
but it's there's a lot out there, and I appreciate you calling in. I do have a few other calls I want to get to.
Okay.
But yeah, there's it just sounds like you were the first person that's called and that said, nah, they're the same. So that's interesting. I do appreciate you sharing your perspective. You
Okay.
have that down.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. So he says it's the same. Divesting and SYSBM is the same. That's the first. But like I said, I'm open to hearing your perspective. You lovely ladies. It's so funny. Y'all got a lot to say in the comments, but I also want to give a shout out to a casual observer for the $2 on the super chat. I see the worst black men are invariably raised by black women alone. Okay. Also, shout out to Dane C on the super chat. I see that man with the Malcolm X icon is a moderator on Cynthia V's channel, just so you know. Okay. Okay. You said where's a link to join? I can share it again. One second. Okay. I do have a few more calls we're gonna get to. Y'all, if you're on here, please get those likes up. Please get those likes up. Tag anybody on the discussion. Lovely ladies, if y'all got something to say, if you want to explain your position, love would be happy to hear from you. So far, the overwhelming majority is that SYSBM and divesting is not the same, and that SYSBM is generally positive while divesting is not. This is the general consensus we have so far, but I'm happy to hear from you. Hey there, kings and queens.
Hello. Good to be here. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Great. Brilliant discussion, by the way. And I've got to say, I've learned a lot today.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely amazing. Okay, so my view is this, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They may or may not be the same. I cannot say that I know enough about both. I don't know if they're movements or what. I don't exactly know what they are. They may or may not be the same, but the effect, the outcome is pretty much the same.
Okay.
Right? And that's what's important here for me. And the outcome is basically a group, a race, a community of I use the term African. I don't really use the term black. So a group, a community, a race of black people, African heritage peoples that's not being built by us, right? And that's the problem here.
Right.
That is the big problem. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I have been for 30 years, whatever. And I'm 53 years old.
Okay.
And it's really quite sad, right? And and I want to say this as well, all right? For me, living in the UK, living in London, the situation is just as bad as it is in the States, or worse.
Okay.
There are very few black women, African heritage women living in the UK who want to be wives. There's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of African heritage women who have a fantasy about getting married, but very few actually want to stay married.
Interesting.
And that's probably the problem in the so-called Western world as well. So for many years, I've worked with lots of Indian guys, and it's been a running joke with them. When they go to find a wife, they go back to India to find a wife. They have done for years.
That's facts. Yeah, that's facts.
They don't call it divesting. They just go home to get a wife.
Go straight home.
Yeah, they don't bother with the Anglos, with the Europeanized Indian female, or at least not as much as what they might. No, they go back home to find a wife. So my advice to any African heritage bloke living in living in the States. Yeah, if you can't find a African American female who wants to stay married, right? Then just go to South America. There's loads in Brazil. There's loads on the African continent. Just spend a bit more money and go home. And when you go home, just have a good look around Ghana, Togo, Nigeria,
Right.
Zambia, Zimbabwe, anywhere you want to go and look. Just go and save up your money. You might only be able to go once a year, twice a year, but the bottom line is you bring her back. You bring her back to LA, or you never know. You might end up staying. You might end up staying wherever you've gone to visit. So for me, that is my focus really. I would advise rather than how would I say, rather than start doing something somewhere else with another set of people. The idea for me is to build up your own people, right? Whether it's and that includes an African family, right? And that's it, So I fully understand the whole idea about because it exists here, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
Honestly, it's a terrible situation in this country, and there's a whole heap of women breaking their marriages, running off, and trying to blame men for their decisions. Trying to blame black men for their decisions, and but I would never say to an African heritage man, don't deal with African women. No, what you do, you go somewhere where the African women know how to be wives, they want to be wives, they value men, they respect men, they've been brought up to be traditional wives.
Right.
That doesn't mean they're not professional females and all the rest of those things. No, they are, but they just want to be wives as well.
Right, and they've been trained to do so.
Amen.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Well, I do appreciate you calling on.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll continue the conversation.
Great topic.
Absolutely. Thanks again. You have a good one.
You too. God bless you.
You too.
Bye.
For those of you on, please get those likes up. Tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. We're talking about SYSBM and divesting. Are they the same? So I have actually a lot of calls. I'm gonna have to wrap this up, you guys, in the next few minutes. So if I don't get to you this time, definitely call in next time. I have a call-in show. I'm gonna bring up. Hey there, Jason. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So what do you think? Are divesting and SYSBM, are they the same? Are they helping, hurting the Black community? What are your thoughts on this whole topic?
Can't really say helping or hurting, but
okay.
I honestly do believe that they're different.
Mm-hmm.
As far as SYSBM, it seems more solution oriented.
Okay.
It doesn't seem as so like, oh, we're going to paint out to Black women as the devil. Is more so as though this isn't a situation that is working for either one of us.
Okay.
Let's find ways to not only remove ourselves from the situation but better our lives, as opposed to divesting, where it just seems as though they want to paint Black men as villains and also, wishing harm on Black men, and that's why I don't think they're necessarily the same.
Okay.
And a lot of SYSBM men don't, particularly, you do have some that praise white women, but from the ones that I've heard, for the most part, or ones I've listened to, they pretty much put all women in the same basket,
Right. They're like, well, yeah, because, the capacity for craziness, I mean, like I said, I can say, at least in my own life, I know there's crazy on both. Wherever you go, you can find crazy. Wherever you go, you can find trauma. You can also find good. Just sometimes I think you got to know what to look for, but it's a fallacy to just assume that you will escape one community and you gonna find it's gonna be just problem free over there. That's a fact.
Right. My biggest issue is like when guys who put white women on pedestals, when the whole MGTOW movement was started because of their complaints with white women. You know, feminism was started by white women. So we can't sit up here and say that white women are the
Yeah,
solution.
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It don't make no sense.
Right.
That's
But like I said, I think most SYSBM men don't believe that. There's definitely a sector that do behave that way, but I don't think that that's the majority, you know?
okay.
So I think that that's the difference.
Right. No, makes total sense. Well, I do appreciate you calling. I have a few other calls I want to get to. But
All
yeah,
right.
thanks
Thank you.
for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good one. For those of you on, please get those likes up. Shout out to let's see, Torenzo Jones again for the $20 super chat. I see. Okay, if I have to tell another man why I'm saving myself, which I don't, something's wrong with him, not me. Because saving myself isn't a divestment, it's a psychological investment. Know, heal, and master thyself, or else we'll try to. No, honestly, here's my opinion, y'all. But a man saving himself or taking his time to invest in his career, his relationship with God, his emotional well-being, maybe trying to stack some cash, kind of prepare a structure. Him doing that and then, finding his wife or whatever is 40s, 50s, some of them, like some even 60s. I mean, there's different implications to if a woman was to do that. My personal opinion, just based upon biology, is that unfortunately women, we are on a shorter window. Like there's really no way to put it. Men can pretty much procreate until they're not here anymore. Women, we are on a shorter cycle. So if you're a woman that wants to have kids, then you want to do it in the context of marriage, you do actually have to be mindful of that. Like that's not to say you can't have a career. That's not to say you can't, that you shouldn't work on yourself. You shouldn't work on your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God, your passions, having a good emotional understanding, knowing how to cook. Like you should do all those things. But I think it's a little bit, I think it's also not necessarily telling the full truth when we say, oh, don't necessarily be in a rush. You don't have to worry about it. Just kind of like get all your career, everything settled. And then when that's done, these dudes are going to come. And I just think that's a fallacy because one, most men don't really care about your career like that. You can have a career. They're not necessarily intimidated by it, but it's not like an extra point. They're not like, oh wow, she has a master's. Woo, like I'm really attracted to her. She's a 6, but she has a master's. Now she's a 9 in my head. Like they don't think like that. Like having a great career or degree or non-degree, it's like it's non-essential and the attraction, part of it. It's more important, for most men, we're just like, are you kind? Are you attractive? Are you healthy? Can you cook? Like the basic things. And so I think when we as women tell ourselves, oh, you can just put all these things on the back burner, put marriage and children, all that kind of stuff in the back burner, focus on your career. Then when you have the great career, the man of your dreams is going to come. That's a fallacy because guys aren't looking at your career and getting turned on. That's not what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you can do that stuff, but we have to be realistic about the fact that, yeah, our time clock is different than a time clock of a man. So, the gentleman over there who sent in a super chat, he's like, yeah, I'm waiting. I'm trying to build certain things, work on certain things for his own personal well-being. And I'm like, men can do that for a long time and still turn on at 50 and get a female that's half their age or a few years younger and not have a problem. They can do that, especially if he's well established, especially if he has money. Let's just be honest. He has career and success. There's not going to be a shortage of women who want to get with him. But it's a little different with women because, like, men aren't attracted to the same things. And I think if we understand as women and men that we are attracted to different things, then I think there we can start to just understand how to move. But that's just my 2 cents, y'all. So anyways, if y'all are on here, please get those likes up, tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. It's been a good, interesting discussion. And let's bring on Charles.
Can you hear me?
How's it going? Yes. So what do you think? Is divesting and SYSBM, are they the same?
To me, no, it's not the same because majority of black men are not trying to divest from black women. It seems like it
Fair.
seems like majority of black women who feel like they want the upper echelon men want to divest to any other man of upper level to average status, some even below status, but they
Right.
feel like if they have to settle for a black man, then they'll feel like, oh, they're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Right. That part.
As far as like the SYSBM, I mean, what are black men supposed to be doing? I mean, a little bit about me. I'm 36.
Okay.
I have a group tight net of 5 friends. I was the only one when we were in high school that wanted black women. All the other ones dated pretty much white women. All of them are in relationships. The kids, one or two of them married, and I'm the only one who been fighting this good fight, trying to get a sister. I mean, I've had 3 or 4 relationships. Those fell out. So pretty much like how you said of coming to a crossroad to where you want to get your stuff together. That's what I did. So now that I'm able to provide for a woman. I'm able to have her technically not pay no bills once she qualifies. That's where a lot of women are getting confused, that they want that top position, but they have to qualify for the position. They have to earn that. I'm just not gonna just gravy boat any female just to have somebody there in that slot. No, because obviously almost any female would want that, so it has to be earned, at least in my eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
But
so that makes sense. So you're saying interesting, because you said you went to school. A lot of your close friends, I'm assuming a lot of them are black men. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
But yeah. So these black men that your close friends, all of them that you're referencing to, have decided to marry out. You have decided to hold on to the good fight of faith.
Yes.
But you're saying you're
I haven't caught a lot of luck. Well, there was a shift. Like I used to be able to get a woman on my level. I'm an average guy, I make average money. I have transportation, I have shelter. I can provide food and bring the bacon home. Yeah. Now, for some reason, there was a shift when social media kicked off in 2012, 2013, where I'm having to put extra effort into just getting a woman on my level. So I'm thinking that, okay, I'm asking my friends for verification. I'm like, okay, is she in my league or is she out of my league? Because I'm trying to see, am I swinging for the
valid.
Yeah. So she's average. I'm like, okay, I'd say the same thing. I should be able to get this. So when I'm seeing that women who are average, working a regular job that probably has no kids in her mid-20s are kind of like, oh, I don't qualify. When I'm just like, wow, I'm like, what did happen? It seems like if she's out of shape with 2+ kids, then they'll kind of be like, okay, well, they're talking to me like I'll do for them. And I'm like, no. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work like that.
Okay. That's interesting.
Just like one of the other gentlemen said about there's other tiers of black women. There's 50 shades of black. So that's the good thing. I was watching one of the other content creators about getting a passport. I've been procrastinating. I should have had my passport way before the pandemic even happened. So now that I'm I still want a good, a good understanding sister. But I don't know if I can really keep fighting this fight in America, because I'm from Haiti. So I don't know if I can keep fighting this good fight in America, trying to get an American or Americanized woman. I don't know if the juice is even worth the squeeze anymore. So I think me spending $110 to $170, whatever the passport costs these days, is probably a whole lot cheaper. And me learning Spanish, Portuguese, any other language, probably be cheaper than me trying to spend a lot of money in America trying to convince a average black woman that I can provide the lifestyle that you want, but I don't want the pizza when it's cold and 5 minutes before closing time. I don't want that pizza. I want the pizza when it's fresh.
Yeah. That's a very interesting. I had an interview with a gentleman maybe 2 weeks ago. African American man, engineer. Really successful in his own right, and he's looking to marry. We kind of had we've had similar conversations. He's a very godly man, very, very focused and devoted to his relationship with God, and he's looking for specific things, and he's just like, I don't know if I can find it out here. So
it's very tough.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
It is very tough for, like I said, the average to above average black man, because I'm getting older, so I just turned 36 this year. So my parents are like, "Well, you're gonna find a girl, get some grandkids, etc." I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. I mean, like I said, I think all my prospects for 2021, I didn't put it on the wood. There was even two baby mamas. I'm like, okay, well, she has a kid, but let me see. And none of those manifested anything. So right now I have no prospects. I don't know. I mean, I guess 2022 coming up. I guess I gotta get back out there and try to strike for gold.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your perspective. One of my goals with this channel is to have real honest conversations and ultimately provide some insight to women who are desiring better results, desiring to change, maybe desiring to do things different. So the best of luck to you. And
I won't. When I'm on your channel, I'm like, I gotta find a black sister like this. If I can find a black sister like this, all the stress will be worth it. All this stress and heartache will be worth it. So,
here's the thing. I tell people all the time, I need y'all's help with nothing else just to get the message out there. I'll continue to do my part, have conversations with women, have these different discussions and hopefully try to have a different narratives that's going to be helpful and healthy and encouraging. But, I need your guys' help to share the message. So it's like, if you know a woman out there, young girls, different people you think this would benefit them, share it, because my goal, I have sons. I want them to be able to find a wife.
I want to stay. I always wanted a black family too. So I mean, I had this vision when I was younger. I mean, the vision's getting a little foggy, but I mean, I just need to wipe the mirror so it can seem more clearer, so it can be more vivid again. But I feel you.
Right. Well, again, appreciate you calling on, and best of luck.
Okay. Have a nice night.
Okay, you too. Bye. So, again, I'm going to take one more call. If you are on here, thank you for being here. Again, get those likes up. I think I saw a super chat come through. I want to make sure I don't miss it. Okay. I see Jay Daniels for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I believe the SYSBM movement will force Black women to act right in the future. Shahar Razad Ali tried to warn you 30 years ago. If you're on here, get those likes up. Tag anybody on this discussion who you think may find it interesting. Ladies, this is the last call. If you would like to give your perspective, if you would like to make your voice be heard, you can call in. I don't bite. I really don't. It's so funny to me. People be so vocal in these chats. They be, man, they got essays. When it comes to I mean, and I'm not even, you don't even need a camera. I'm being nice today. You can just do your audio. So like I said, this is y'all last chance. Feel free to call in and share your perspective. I see there are a lot of traditional African women. It says, Shay, do you have a Cash App? Yes, I do have a Cash App. Shameless plug. You can find me on Cash App or Venmo, Shay Charday. Also, I want to appreciate all of you guys who have shown your support, however big or small, whether it's becoming a member, whether it's sending in a Cash App unexpectedly, whether it's sending in super chats. I truly appreciate you. That's what keeps this engine going. So I really appreciate all of it. Also, just quick shameless plug. If you have not heard, we are still campaigning for the Black Men Vote. That the goal is to get enough channel members so that we can start to take those community posts where we are highlighting different Black men who have done inventions, You're talking advancements in engineering and technology and mathematics and medicine. Just a different narrative around the different ways Black men have impacted not only modern society, but even society up to this point. So again, if you want to see that message get out there, if you want to see videos that are starting to fight this negative, narrative that Black men don't build, Black men are dusties, they haven't built, they won't build, they're not worthwhile or whatever, and that interests you, if you want to start to see positive, encouraging messages about the Black community and about Black men in particular, become a channel member. You can do so for as little as $4.99. So shameless plug there. So we need to highlight more brothers in engineering. Yes, if you missed it, I had a gentleman come on yesterday. Not yesterday. Was it yesterday? I'm drawing a blank. I think it was yesterday. A Black men building, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to try to bring different Black men on who are building today. Whether it's in businesses, engineering, you mentioned technology, running industries. That's my goal, because like I said, I think we've all heard about the negative stuff. We've all heard the bad things that are happening. We all know about it, but very few of us, I think, hear or have a chance to celebrate some of the positive. So anyways, okay, so I don't see any of y'all females in here, but that's okay. That is okay. This has been a amazing discussion. I will take one more call and then I'm out. How is it going?
Good evening. Good evening. It's going well. How are you?
I'm good. So what do you think?
Thank you for taking my call. I don't really have much to add. I think that
Okay.
you brought up a lot of brothers who got the sentiment across. I would like to take a moment to just thank you, Crimson Cure, Pink Book Lessons, just this increasing number of Black women who are stepping forward and just kind of upholding these values that we as Black men are looking for.
Yeah.
This was a very balanced conversation. I really appreciate that. It's something that I have not heard in divestment spaces. So posing this question, I just want to give you a shout out for that and bringing a balanced perspective to the conversation. And if anything, I want Black women to know that there are Black men who are looking to marry. And they need to replay this video and listen to the countless brothers who are saying, hey, look, I'm looking. The last caller spoke to a pain. Someone asked about well, what are you saving yourself from? Well, I'm saving myself from the pain that comes with having to wait and be on the sideline to find a compatible mate. I'm holding out. It's lonely. It's isolating at times. That's what you're saving yourself from. This is what brothers are saving themselves from when they decide to expand their options. And I put a comment in the chat earlier about intercultural dating. So I aligned with the SYSBM principles, but I am not a fan of interracial dating.
Okay.
I am a fan of intercultural dating. And so, there's a spectrum to SYSBM, and that includes looking throughout the diaspora. And does it help the Black community? I think anything that's going to result in the formation, the maintenance of healthy Black families and children helps the Black community.
Yeah.
So yes. And that's all. Thank you.
Well,
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you calling on. And I think that was a good note to wrap up on. You have a good night. So again, I want to spend some. Saw a few super chats come through. Burger and fries with the $4.99, showing my support. I see Raw with the $20 super chat. It says, Black men do not feel bad about leaving the country to find a traditional woman in Africa and Latin America. White men are going to Eastern Europe and Thailand in droves to find wives, some with Asian and Arab men visiting home. Facts. I know of two men in particular in my own life who have done this. One was Fijian, another one's white male. They left, the country to find wives, or to try to find fiancés. So men are doing it, and men are going to continue to do it, I guess, if they feel like it's not, they can't find good options. And, you know, you have women who are, like I said, promoting the opposite. So it's an interesting conversation, but I appreciate all of you guys who have been on here. I was hoping to hear from some females. Y'all certainly had a lot to say in those comment section. Now here's what I'm going to say. I actually reached out to 3 divestors. Now, if you ladies in the comments, if you know of any divestors who you think would be interested in having a conversation, I would love to hear from them. I emailed 3 of them. 2 of them haven't responded. One responded, and then when she found that I wanted to have a discussion, decided to opt out. So I've been trying to chat with y'all for some time now, just to hear your point. Like I said, I've done some of my different research and still doing research. I have my own understanding of the movement, but I think it's better to hear it straight from the horse's mouth before coming to a conclusion. So if you know of anybody who would be willing to actually have an open, honest discussion and dialogue, please let me know. I was hoping to have some of y'all ladies come in, but all good, maybe next time. And I see I'm having better success with foreign Black women. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'll say this. I will say this. A person at the end of the day, in my humble opinion, they have the right to date and marry whoever they want to date and marry. To me, it's so much less about the race, the culture, where the person is from. I mean, certainly you want to take that into consideration. But it's more important who is that person? Do they have the right qualities? Do they have the right value? For men, do you have a woman who is feminine friendly, if you will, or a woman who is really cooperative and willing to work with you and honor who you are as a man? For women, do you have a man who's going to love you, who's going to be a spiritual guide, who's going to really cover you in those different ways and provide support, provide leadership? Like, I think it's really less about some of these different labels and more about who that person is. As a, spiritually minded person, as someone who really has really seeks relationship with God as being the highest priority. Like, when I was looking for a husband, that was really important to me. That was really important, is finding a man who I felt like had a good, strong connection with God, a good, strong connection with Christ. And that was the highest priority. Now, of course, I was always attracted to Black men. So, I was happy to land that and get that. But I think, instead of being so focused on, oh, well, all Black men are horrible, or all Black women are this, it's like, we got to be a little bit more open-minded. But with that said, I think a person has the right to go wherever they need to go to get the love and respect. So I celebrate and encourage men, whether it's they do it in America, or they find they need to go across Latin America, or they need to go to Africa or wherever to find love. I'm all for it. If a woman finds herself in a situation, okay. Now, the implications are going to be different for women. That's another conversation. But I'm just saying, that's just my general thought on it, my general perspective. And but I do appreciate all of you guys, all of you guys for coming on, and I do appreciate all of you guys for being here. Also, I will say, lastly, I do not and will not support anything that is going to openly bash, lead to self-hatred, and lead to the genocide of yourself, if that makes sense. So, I've heard certain divestors openly complain about, biracials, preferences, and then promote at the same time marrying white men to actually procreate those biracials. That makes no sense. Why? Because it's in self-hatred. Similar to, a SYSBMer who will say not all SYSBMers, but some of those who are maybe more extreme or on the incel vibe, where they're like, all Black women are horrible, therefore just you have to marry Becky. I'm not gonna support that, because it's like, that is rooted in self-hate. So to me, like I said, it's more about what is actually driving you. And of course, if you want to continue to have the Black community, you kind of do need to date and marry each other. That's just like common sense. But if you choose to date and marry out, don't do it by bashing and hating on other people and demonizing them, because that ultimately is going to lead to self-hatred. That's going to continue to promote lies. And that's actually, at that point, we are participating in our own demise, and that is bad. But those are my thoughts. Appreciate, again, all of you guys for being on here. Again, if you want to show support to the show, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo. Also, I appreciate all of you guys who have become channel members. And if you would like to support, again, the Black Men Built That video series, You can sign up to become a channel member for as little as $4.99 a month. I will leave the link to that in the description, and we will talk later. Bye.